For the past 2 years, Green Sheep Productions have been running a project called Civil Rights Then and Now. I'm really looking at civil rights issues in Northern Ireland, both back in 1968 and then 50 years later in 2018. And it was prompted by the 50-year anniversary of the Civil Rights Association being set up in Northern Ireland. So we have been out working in communities, learning about what civil rights means to people in 2018, but also looking back at historically what it meant to people, which grew into a project that involved us creating a professional play in April 2018 that was performed in the Lyric Theatre. But as part of the process, we also wanted to see how could we then use that particular piece of theatre to then go in and work with schools and with young people in community centres to see how we can then use that theatre to encourage them to think more deeply how civil rights affects us today in 2018, and is it still important? What sort of rights are we talking about here? Just remind us. Right to work. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech.
Right to suitable housing.
Suitable housing.
Right to education.
Right to education.
The right to vote.
The right to vote. Right to the equal pay. Fair pay. Okay. With Forum Theatre you have a character called the Joker. And it's the Joker's job really to engage the audience with the actors. They also have this job of trying to encourage the audience to be active. You're not going to warm up, just really a shaking of hands and shaking of feet, but really so that people go, you're going to move today, you're going to think today, you're going to talk today. And I think that's a really key ingredient to the structure of how Forum Theatre works. Then we had two professional actors in Noel and Christine who had developed the scenes and would rehearse the scenes and work the scenes into a point where they have a dilemma.
I don't have to meet them, they're all the bloody same. Now I lent you that money to start the shop, but that's as far as it goes.
We then work with the audience to find what is this dilemma.
You should have the right to do whatever you want to your body.
But not allowing you to do what you want to do.
Okay,
Love is love!
yes, love.
Slowly you go, but how would you fix that? And you try to get some ideas from the audience, and eventually when you get to that first person. But once that first person goes, it's a bit like dominoes, once you see them up and giving it a go, the other guys will follow. That's what we hope. The real purpose then is for that young person to get up and to work alongside the actors to try to see if they can find a solution to the oppression. The guys are going to start the scene again, and whenever you want to change it, you just say freeze. That whole sequence was then completely improvised as they tried to create a new scene with a different outcome.
You're doing no such thing. You're going on no Catholic march.
Sit down, Dolly, I want to talk to you.
Nobody going out marching on the streets trying to cause trouble. That's what they want to do.
Well, it's not as if we're going down here for a riot day. We're going to walk about with signs. It's a peaceful protest. We're trying to make a difference in the world.
You've got all these ideas about Catholics and Protestants all coming together and equality and all that stuff.
But that's the whole point. People need to realise we all need to band together and stay one as a community.
I'm not letting a daughter of mine go no Catholic march.
Look, Daddy, you're entitled to your own opinion.
Get you back here!
Sometimes it works, and sometimes we got a solution, and sometimes it didn't work, and then we talk about why did that not work?
Walking out's not going to solve everything, is it, Emma?
And the great thing is, afterwards, when you're talking to the rest of the audience, that's when you can actually debate, well, is that a real solution? Does that really work?
Do we think we got ourselves a solution?
Yeah. Nice. What was happening there in that solution?
So that she got into actually they're talking about the same thing.
So alongside our second workshop took the format of a more interactive workshop where young people were dealing with bits of the script but also creating and working with some of the characters or dilemmas of people in 2018. So we wanted to also find a slightly different format that would allow everyone maybe to feel a bit more confident, to give their opinions, their ideas, their thoughts on just what these dilemmas were, but also their thoughts on finding solutions for these characters. The other real purpose we thought behind the second workshop was that we wanted also to start to talk about, well, if you believe that the characters should have these rights, how would you fight for those rights for them? How would you, try to help these characters get their rights?
Obviously your job, should hear stories of women and things that they can tell.
At the end of it then we actually had a practical sort of theatre exercise where they created some sort of protest, some way where they could articulate the rights but also articulate why they're important and why people should be fighting for them or want to fight for them or should have them. With a smaller group you can get much more in depth and also a bigger understanding of the real people maybe behind the issues, and it's not just a word like racism or refugee rights or LGBT rights. Who's the real person in behind that? When we work the gingerbread person, what we try to do is it's all about making that person real, making that issue real because it's based on a person that maybe you know or a person that you have an understanding of. And part of that is then to create that person for us. It's not just a name in the script. Who is Colin? How does he think? How does he feel? What's his passion? What's the important things about his life? And the type of guy he is, or the type of guy he wants to be. And the same, with Kathy or with Danielle, and it's putting a reality to that person, and really starting to get the participant to think about, well, how does that person think, or how does that person feel at this moment in their lives? On the outside of the gingerbread person, then we start to put, well, what's stopping them achieve their rights? And what are the obstacles or the areas of society that maybe is oppressing them or stopping them or doesn't want to give them rights or doesn't feel that they should have rights? So now we're starting to think more about, well, what are they up against? How does society work for this person? It really gets you connected now. You're connected to your gingerbread person now. You can then, when you go on to do the next exercise where you're going to fight for their rights,
Do what's right.
Love is love!
We want equal rights to love who we want.
What's freedom without love?
My right,
All
my
for pro-life, against pro-choice.
My name's Danielle Cullen.
This is Belfast, this is Belfast.
I wanted to live there. I wanted to start my family there, just like you.
you know who it is you're fighting for and why you're fighting for them and what they're up against.
I really enjoyed the workshop. I thought it was really educational. I learned a whole lot of new things.
I came in thinking I knew somewhat about civil rights and stuff like that. Coming out of it going, okay, I knew very little.
Like, I never really knew much about civil rights before, and I have a better understanding of it now.
Coming in to do a forum theatre workshop, I didn't really know what to expect, but then coming in and seeing what it was, I wanted to take part.
And I'm not usually very political, but I really enjoyed doing that. So,
with everything that's going on with the government, it's kind of like our voices aren't really being heard, and I feel like forum theatre is a great way to get people to get the confidence to show their point of view.
I would say that with this workshop, it's a very empathetic way to learn. It's all well and good saying something and having a viewpoint, but to actually be on stage in the character's shoes and trying to solve something or put out your own opinion, I think that really stood out to me.
With it being down to actual real life things that are going on and about civil rights, it was very difficult because you have to put yourself in somebody else's shoes.
The issues that were being displayed, it's so prominent to what's going on in our lives today.
It was good because now I've got a better understanding of what things were like then and how far things have changed and how far they need to change as well.
The whole process was very thought-provoking and it was a big insight into some problems that maybe not all of us in the class faced, and overall it was just a really enjoyable way to learn about such a not nice thing.
I loved just being a part of it because I'm going through struggles, and I became happier in this class and in a better mood because of it.
Everybody has a different struggle, in whether it's through lack of civil rights and stuff. Everybody has a different struggle, so always pay mind to it and be aware.
It definitely made me a lot more aware of how difficult some people have it, and how maybe sometimes being from a background where you're not really a victim to discrimination or anything yourself, or your civil rights aren't being affected, but just how it is different for other people, and I would like to try and make a difference